Welcome into the Ravens Rundown, everybody. My name is Joey Petersen. So glad that you guys are joining us today. We're going to look at 4 things that if I were Eric DeCosta, I would have on my to-do list for the rest of this Ravens offseason. I don't know about you guys. I'm a guy who likes to have a checklist. I'm a guy who likes to check things off as I go along my day. So I'm playing the ball GM today and telling you 4 things I think he needs to prioritize over these next couple of months. Make sure you stick around, though, okay? Because we're counting down to 1. Starting at 4, going to 1, so stay tuned for what I think is the most important thing that Eric DeCosta should have on his mind over the next couple of months. Starting off at number 4, and I can't stress this one enough. Baltimore Ravens, you got to keep your head down. Now, why do I say that? Well, it feels like right now, after the Jair Alexander signing, everybody in the world, everybody on social media, everybody on SportsCenter, if you still watch it these days, is telling Baltimore how good they are. Everybody's telling Baltimore, if you're going to do it, this is the season to do it. Now, I might be part of that group because I think I've said those exact words before, but still, it doesn't change the fact that if you're a player on this team and your goal is to win a championship, listening to the outside noise telling you how good you are, that's only going to hinder your ability to stay locked in and stay focused along the course of what is a very, very long season. We're going to talk Super Bowl odds in just a second. Make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. I got 916 followers right now. My goal is to get to 1,000 by the end of July, okay? So make sure you guys are following me, 916 followers. I need 84 followers. If you give me a follow, first 5 get a follow back. You can find me at Joey Petersen on Twitter. My Twitter, the link to that is also going to be in the comments and description of today's video. So it's not just the media, but it's Vegas as well. They're in on it. Plus 700, tied for first on FanDuel odds. Plus 650, tied for first when you look at Fox Sportsbook. And then when you look at DraftKings, plus 650, tied for first as well. So it's not just me, it's not just you, but everybody's in the same boat thinking that Baltimore has a really, really good shot to win it all. And when you think about the great teams, if you think about the dynasties, okay, think about the Patriots, think about the Chiefs, think about Alabama football. Every single year, they went into that season, and every single person was telling them that they should have won the championship. They were supposed to win it all. Great teams are able to ignore the noise, okay? Great teams are able to never be satisfied. Great teams are able to stay focused and stay locked in during those summer months, during the middle of the year when everybody's hurt, everybody's tired, and say, hey guys, we're still coming together every single day for that one common goal. And what I love is that Lamar Jackson's coming into this season with an absolute vengeance. He said after minicamp, we're going to have to bounce back when we come back. I feel like we're going to have vengeance on our mind. And I think it's a perfect setup for that first game going into this year, playing against the Buffalo Bills, the same team that knocked you out of the playoffs. And if I'm John Harbaugh, okay, I'm putting this picture everywhere in that facility, in the locker room, in the weight room. Hell, I'm having guys slap it on their way out to go to practice like they're Notre Dame going to play a football game, okay? And not to make Mark Andrews embarrassed, not to put him down, but to show everybody what disappointment looks like when you get to the end of a season and you don't reach your goal, okay? So that's why, number 1, I feel like Baltimore needs to just keep their head down and stay focused. Weigh in for me, okay? What do you think the percent chance is the Ravens win the Super Bowl this next season? We don't have to stay as focused as they do, okay? We could talk about Super Bowl odds all we want. You let me know in the comment section down below. Number 3, I think that they need to prioritize extending Kyle Hamilton or Tyler Linderbaum, okay? I'm not saying that both of those guys need to have extensions done by the time the season rolls around, but I would love for at least one of them to have it, okay? And a little bit of a reminder, they both are first-round picks, so that means they both have the ability to have fifth-year options picked up on their rookie deals. Baltimore picked up Kyle Hamilton's fifth-year option. They did not pick up Tyler Linderbaum's fifth-year option. Now, that doesn't mean that they like Hamilton more than Linderbaum, that they see Hamilton as more of a long-term player for the Baltimore Ravens than they do Tyler Linderbaum. It's just basically because when you look at the way that the offensive line is looked at with those fifth-year options, they're all grouped together. So his option would have been $23.4 million for that fifth year, which is $5.4 million more than the NFL's highest paid center, okay? Let's just talk to the NFL and say, hey, if you're going to do fifth-year options for offensive line, break those up by positions and not just do them all one together. My take with both of those guys is Kyle Hamilton, I think, is the best player you have on defense, and I think he's the second best player you have on your entire team. I think it goes Lamar Jackson, and I think Kyle Hamilton and maybe Derrick Henry are tied for second, but like he's so important to this roster. He's so important to this defense. You can do whatever you want with him. Put him anywhere on the field. We know how big of a Swiss Army knife that he is. And then you talk about Tyler Linderbaum. That's a guy who's the cornerstone of this offensive line and will be for years to come, okay? Having consistency at that center position is absolutely massive. Not just for the quarterback, for the entire team, okay? He's a cornerstone in this group, and I think he could be there for at least a decade. Show me down below by hitting that thumbs up button if you want Hamilton or Linderbaum extended. If you want them on this team for years to come, do me one big favor and like today's video. Coming up, we got two more to-dos for Baltimore, okay? Two more things that I think Eric DeCosta needs to have done before the season rolls around. Before that, though, make sure you guys go to chatsports.com/RavensUSA. If you guys want to rep the black and purple by also repping the stars and stripes, chatsports.com/RavensUSA is where you need to go. I don't know what your 4th of July plans are, but, I mean, how sweet would you look at the family barbecue, the family cookout, while you're watching fireworks if you got this Ravens USA t-shirt on? Again, chatsports.com/RavensUSA. That link is in the comments and description of today's video. Number 2, I still think that this team needs to sign a safety, okay? Obviously, they got a lot better in the secondary when they added Jair Alexander. But still, the loss of Ardarius Washington with the torn Achilles from about a month ago, I still think that's going to loom large. Because now Kyle Hamilton is kind of handcuffed in the fact that Zach Orr isn't able to use him as much of a chess piece as he was going to with Ardarius in the lineup, okay? You got Malachi Starks. He's a rookie. I've got a lot of confidence in him, but I just want somebody else that I feel good about. Because your depth is Bo Braid and Sanusi Kane. I think those guys could have great seasons. Apparently they're having, good days at minicamp. Excited to see how they do in the preseason. But again, let's talk about what we talked about at the beginning. This is a team we're looking at like a Super Bowl contender. I'd like the depth at safety to be a little bit better. And you still have really good options at safety when it comes to free agents, okay? I think of all the positions, safety might be the deepest when it comes to players still available at free agency. Justin Simmons is a guy that if they signed him tomorrow, I would be absolutely over the moon. Now, he didn't have his best season last year with the Atlanta Falcons. 62 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 pass breakups, like not bad. But he played on a really, really bad defense. The worst defensive line in football. And so being a guy that's a free safety, having to cover for like what seemed like 5 seconds longer than the average free safety would have across the NFL, that makes your job a little bit harder. He got paid $7.5 million on a 1-year deal with Atlanta last year. Whenever he signs, I think it's going to be another 1-year deal. You don't stay a free agent this long if you're going to sign a multi-year contract. It's going to be less than $7.5 million. I think Baltimore needs to find a way to make that happen. I think Julian Blackmon and Jordan Whitehead, Nick, we can go to the next one as well. I think both of those guys are also great options. I think that Justin Simmons is my top, but if either of those two made their way into the fold as well, I would not be upset about it at all. What I like about both those guys is they play a style of football very similar to Ardarius Washington, okay? Both of them are fine in coverage, right? They're not going to be the best, but they're really, really short tacklers. They're really, really aggressive players. We saw Ardarius Washington make some awesome hits. 2 I remember that stand out. 1, within the 5-yard line against Russell Wilson, caused a fumble. That was in Week 17. Number 2, against the Houston Texans on Christmas Day, the goal line stand against Joe Mixon forced him out of bounds. The same play that Zach Orr basically flipped over him in celebration. You lost that guy. Jordan Whitehead, Julian Blackmon, both of those safeties play a very, very similar style of football. I think both those guys could come in here and be exactly who Ardarius Washington was to this defense. Pick one of those three for me to sign. Is it Justin Simmons, Julian Blackmon, or Jordan Whitehead? Which of the J's do you want in Baltimore? Give me a JS for Simmons, JB for Blackmon, and JW for Whitehead. Number one, the thing I think is most important, extend Lamar Jackson. Okay, I think it's time to get this done. We've been talking about this for a long time. We've been hearing a lot of things, whether it's from Jeremy Fowler, whether it's from Eric DeCosta himself, whether it's from Brian Wacker with the Baltimore Sun, who talked about what Adam Schefter had to say. He said ESPN Insider says the Ravens finalizing a contract extension for Lamar Jackson in the near future is a, quote, no-brainer. And then, of course, EDC himself said, we've had some conversations before the draft, after the draft, in person last week. I think we're in the introductory sort of stage of looking at what an extension might look like. And I just think it's absolutely paramount to get this done, not only because I want Lamar Jackson to be a Baltimore Raven for the rest of his career, but I just think financially, it makes sense for Baltimore to do this as quickly as they can. He has a $43 million cap hit in 2025. He has a $74.65 million cap hit in 2026 and in 2027. And if you extend him, you save $15 million on the cap this year and $40.5 million on the cap over the next 2 seasons. If you do the quick math, that's what? $96 million saved? $96.8 million saved? Like, that should be a no-brainer, and you have the perfect outline of what an extension could look like. Just do exactly what the Bills did for Josh Allen back in March, except maybe up the total by $5 million, up the average by $1 million, up the guaranteed by about $5 million, make him higher paid because that's what he's going to want, and I frankly think that's what he deserves. But, like, you have the framework. This shouldn't be as hard. And it definitely should not be as hard as it was the last time you talked about a contract extension with Lamar Jackson, because we all know what a shit show that was. I believe that this is a priority, okay? But I don't believe for Eric DeCosta it's priority number one. It will get done, but I think we could be looking at like a Dak Prescott situation from last year. Not that it's going to happen literally the morning of week 1 of the NFL season, but I think it does happen closer to the start of the NFL season than to where we are right now. Make sure you guys got me followed on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at Joey Petersen 8 on both of those platforms. The link to both of those will be in the comments and description of today's video. And also make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We do this thing daily, 100% free. So if you guys haven't yet, join us today.